So we want to hit on a game that's called Erica. Very straight to the point, very simple title, but it's very interesting. Do you want to introduce this, jump into it? Do you want me to?
Oh, go for it.
So this is going to be a release that's going to be on the PlayStation. Now, whether it's PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, depending on when things get released. But Erica is a film/video game. Now, we've kind of seen this in such games such as Heavy Rain. Was it Two Souls or what was
Beyond?
Beyond Two Souls.
That was, I think, even more intense than Heavy Rain, but same company.
But same company.
That did it.
Well, this game here is going to try to mix that even more. Kind of like Until Dawn. Yeah, that's true too. I forgot about Until Dawn. It's kind of like that, but even more film-esque. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to capitalize on the casual gamer. So with this, no one has really met the expectations of the casual gamer as did the Nintendo Wii. I think probably the Nintendo Switch has been the best thing for casual gamers as well. But nothing has really encapsulated people like the Nintendo Wii. So other game companies are trying to figure out, well, how do we get those casual gamers playing? What can we get them to play that they'll love to play with friends? And so what this company, Flavorworks, is coming up with is the video game Erica. And basically, from what we're understanding from the news here, from Engadget, is that this game is going to be interactive about a woman who holds a solution to a murder in her memories, and she's not aware of it. And she starts getting letters and information from the murderer, as well as from someone, I think, within her family who's trying to solve the murder and knows that Erica can be the one to solve it. So you actually control Erica in all of her actions. But unlike games such as Beyond Two Souls, which I think got a lot of hate in a way, because there was so much cinematics and very little action that you can partake in, right? You're most sort of just watching, and then every once in a while it'd be like, hit X. Oh, I'm supposed to hit X. Oh, okay.
Right. It was definitely not open world by any means, or, not even, you can walk over here to do a quest. It was sort of like, the quest is happening. Oh, okay. Here, interact with it, like, real quick. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, moving on. You're like, okay, I'm just going to sit here and shut up then. I feel like I'm in the way. So this game, though, what they're trying to do is not go so far in that direction where it feels more like a film in that sense, like you're very passive. They want you to actually engage with it. So they're going to actually have it where about every 15 seconds, they said. So you can get the game and test it yourself, either with your stopwatch, but every about 15 seconds, you're going to have to do an action, whether it's make a choice between picking up a knife or silence, or jumping onto a train, or punching a guy in the face. Whatever it may be, they're going to give you options. They're going to give you a lot of different potential pathways that you can take. Probably one of the closest things we may see of this Erica game will be Detroit, which I don't know if that's out yet or not. I don't believe it is as of yet.
The game, not the city.
The game Detroit. No, yeah, the city Detroit's been out for a while now. Actually, yeah, if anyone knows what the release date of Detroit is, feel free to throw it in chat as well. But this is going to be where we're going to be going toward in order to get more casual gamers. Is this more film-esque, a little bit more basic, right? You don't have to remember combos. You don't have to think up, down, left, X, Y, X, or, this is how I do a first-person shooter and aim and fire. It takes a very little skill, but you still need to react, right?
Right, it's sort of like those games where they're like story mode or something, right? Where you basically, it's a point and click. Like you enter a room and you're sort of seeing what's in the room, that kind of thing. But it's more cinematic. It's more immersive, this game. And I will say that I'm totally going to date myself here, but in 1995, Tsunami Games came out with Silent Steel, which they called a cinematic strategy adventure. But basically it was like a choose your own adventure book, except it was a game that was a film at the same time. And I remember it came with, I think, like 6 or maybe 8 different CDs, right? This massive thing. And my parents actually got it for me because they know that I love movies and I love games. And you watched short. So you started the game and you would just watch short little film, and then you had to make a choice. It was way less, way slower reaction time that they gave you, But basically, you decided, oh, hey, incoming torpedo, and then like the film would like pause a little bit, and it would give you the options, like, oh, I want to fire back, or I don't know, something like that. And then you would, based on what choice you made, it would tell you if it was on the same CD. You could continue to see what your choice led to, or they would say, okay, please insert CD number 5, and you would insert CD number 5, and you would wait for it to load, and then they would show you what happened, and then something else would happen, and then you would follow the story. And it was you were on a submarine. That was the whole point. And I loved that game because, right, it didn't feel like a game, right? I felt like I was watching a movie, but I also love choose your own adventure books. So and it was cool because unlike choose your own adventure books, like you didn't really know, you couldn't just see all the different endings, or you couldn't really piece it together. Like you had to watch the movie. And when I first heard about Erica, it kind of brought me back to that game because I was like, that's really cool. And obviously, it was a much lower budget. Oh, I mean, I guess they were on a submarine. So, but it was, I'm sure that actually that whole budget was probably lower than what they threw into Erica. For CGI purposes. And also you didn't feel, there was no voice acting, like the person in Silent Steel didn't talk. You were just sort of a silent.
It's living up to its name, though, so the marketing was on point.
Now I totally want to play it again.
And actually, while you're talking about this, let me bring up an image from the game, too, as you can see. So you get a real sense of the detail of this game and the budget they're putting into this. Yeah,
that's amazing. I was going to say, too, it looks like a photograph. Like, it looks like a real person. And, I mean, that's, that's also what I wanted, like, VR games to be like. And I remember I picked up a VR game a year or two ago. I'm like, which is interesting. Just a small tangent. That VR was pretty... It started becoming a little bit big when I was younger, and then I don't know what happened to it. It like went away, and then in the past few years, it's like boom, exploded back on the scene. So that's very interesting, and I don't know if maybe the technology became just cheaper to do or something like that. But it's on a little side note there. But the CGI in this game looks amazing, and there is a trailer online that you can, if it hasn't come out yet, the game. There's a trailer, of course, you can watch online that certainly depicts exactly what Evin said, where you're like talking to a little girl, and you can like either like run away with a little girl when she says let's go, or you can like hold her and tell her no, and you have all this different options that you can do. But it's interesting. I think some of the things that we wanted to talk about were, what does this mean for the future, right? Mm-hmm. For films, for actors. I mean, this CGI too, it has to have been motion capture, right? Well,
from what I'm looking at with the article here, it says that the story's been finalized, but the studio is still filming scenes with Erica actress Sofia Del Pizzo, who is from the Amityville Asylum and Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams in London. So it looks like everything is being filmed in London right now, and there's still no release date, but there is a short cryptic trailer on YouTube and the promise of more information coming in the following months. And there's also an interview as well online in the Engadget article. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be live action, and it sounds like there might...
stunning animation.
Yeah.
Both.
Kind of both, yeah. A mixture of many, because you're picking what action she takes, right? Now that they can't film it and then, within the algorithm quickly go, oh, okay, we're switching over to this cutscene rather than cutscene A, for example.
But yeah, it's interesting because, even, I don't think acting or actors are gonna, I don't think that's gonna go out of style, even with AI, even with, technology, because unless they can replicate emotions and that sort of like, I don't know, that spark that I think, humans have, you're always going to need somebody to portray some of this accurately, I think. And if you look at games right now that have come out where, was it Mass Effect Andromeda?
That wasn't a real expansion.
We don't like talking about that experience, but
You
know,
hurt me right here, BioWare. Here, above the mic, right here. Right.
you know, that was their faces, right? Like that, those things that make us want to play these games and look at humans, right? Like that was missing, right? And they had to like fix it and patch it and all this other stuff, right?
Those facial animations were horrible.
And that's all like anybody could talk about, besides all the other glitches that they had. But you know,
besides all the other crap, yeah.
And now out with Hellblade, right? Senua's Sacrifice. The actress there, the Tomb Raider, the Lara Croft, that's also motion captured by an amazing actress who's also on Grey's Anatomy. You know, like those types of things, like and I mean, Gollum, right? That,
yes, right.
in my mind, is the guy that started it all. You know, you need people to like actually bring these things to life. And it's fascinating because I think we're moving, certainly at least from an acting perspective, I feel like, and even with films nowadays, it almost feels like we're moving away from people. I feel like they're just acting in a silo, right? You've got a green screen around you, you've got stuff on your face, and you've got like 17 different cameras and all these different angles on you, and you have to deliver a performance with all of this stuff, right? And you have to deliver that raw performance. And that's really fascinating because, you know, I don't think necessarily, you know, I know a few actors and like, you know, I know we've been talking about, well, what's going to happen, you know, in that industry. And I don't think it's going away. I think it's evolving, you know, sort of like, like car mechanics. You know, back when cars didn't have computerized everythings, right? You could just fix a car with a very different kind of skill set. Now, you need to basically
understand tech. You have to understand technology and computers.
Right, and like basically short of a computer science degree to kind of really fix some things, right? So I think that's what's going to happen too with the more of these films that we're going to see, and certainly the more of these games we're going to see, because I think, you know, games are here to stay. And people can, you know, laugh at game nerds all they want.
Not here on Twitch.
But they're playing their little Angry Birds on their phone, and they're playing their little Candy Crushes, and they're playing all sorts of things, you know. But these types of games that are really essentially blurring the line between game and film, they're very interesting to watch because you can also get a very different experience each time you play the game, right?
Right.
And that's different than a movie. I think it has so much more impact as well, because you watch the movie, it's going to be the same every time, which is great if you love the movie and you like to quote it. But if you want to get like a truly different kind of experience, these games too have, I'm assuming, a lot of replayability. I mean, like I played Heavy Rain twice, and I knew it was going to happen. Like I already knew the ending, but I wanted to see what was a different way to get there. And I believe it actually had it had multiple endings, or you could potentially get a different kind of ending as well. So that was really cool too. So it's fascinating.
Well, and I think not only will it enhance gaming and continue to enhance, and also these sense of choices, because making choices is not really a new thing in gaming, right? Like even going back to the original BioShock. I mean, even before then, but BioShock was one of the big ones that stood out to me because I remember someone saying, hey, by the way, you know that there's different endings, right? And that makes you go, oh, crap, I got to play like 5 or 6 more times to get all the endings to figure out what the story is, you know, the big picture. And so it's smart from a game perspective because you're giving even more value and entertainment to those players. But then also what do I want to say? You are giving it more playability. So it really does become an investment, right? There's so many games that I've one and done and basically played once and was just like, okay, that's cool. I liked it. I'd never played again, but that was cool. And so it's like, well, how do we beat that? How do we get people active in our game until maybe we come out with a part 2, you know, like a sequel to this game or something like that? And that's a great way of doing it. But I think, we're going to see stronger acting. I think we're going to see more engagement, more human-based emotions coming from these characters. And the only thing I'm concerned about, though, is the oversimplification of games. I know this has been a big issue for people in who play MOBAs and who play like first-person shooters, where they get really frustrated with games that just water things down. You know, it isn't about the hardcore gamer anymore who understands the mechanics of a first-person shooter. You know, so it's like everything gets explained to you, everything gets simplified, all the statistics and all of the modifications you can add to your weapons and things get watered down. I'll point out a few examples too. There's been some concerns about Paragon potentially going in that direction by Epic Games. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that some people have mentioned that. There's been concerns from people who play Paladins by High Res Studios out of Georgia, who have also said, you know, we're a little concerned about the direction of the game. They seem to be dumbing things down so more people play it. But the more that people play it, you know, will it impact the experience that people have? And will it impact sales overall? Because they're trying to get a new market, right? But what happens if they end up pushing away their current base, their current market, and now they're going, oh shit, what do we do now? Because I can see that happening. And I can see people who are really into, you know, give me combinations, give me something to really think on when it comes to me playing this character. Don't just tell me press X or to move left or right. Like, I want something more in depth than that. And there are plenty of people that want that.
And even if you just press X, you can still make a cool and interesting kind of game like Get Over It. Where, I mean, that's pretty simple, but it's fun to play. It's different. It's a different kind of just way of thinking, I think, in terms of a game. And so it's simple and it's not. You know, and that's definitely a nice way, too, to grab a different kind of audience where you don't have to simplify it to the point where it's kind of stupid simple or that you're trying to just get, you know, quantity over quality. You can still make it accessible, I think, to a lot of different people without dumbing it down, as it were. But yeah, it's and it's interesting, too, because you want, you know, going back to that, you know, quality over quantity, like, I think if I was a game company, I would want longevity, right? Like, I would want people to return to my game, to return to my sequels, to return to all my other games, and not so much, you know, that I just want to make a shit ton of money right now. Yeah. But, and again, I think this kind of ties in with what we were talking a little bit earlier about corporations, right? As soon as you, as a company, are more focused on profits than you are about putting out a good product,
yeah, you're going to get hurt. So it's going to be interesting to see what this Erica game entails. Thus far, what it says is that it has a runtime of roughly 2 to 3 hours only. So, you know, most games, you could put in like 40, 50 hours pretty easily with side quests and all this grinding and stuff. And that's not even considering MMOs at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it's
things
like Lifetime right there.
Exactly. Things like Neverwinter or Rift or what have you. No, I mean, we're talking about only 2 to 3 hours. And, you know, one thing that they mentioned in this article that I thought was really interesting was the fact that they mentioned that, you know, if they charge any more than $20, are people really going to buy it? Because even though you can make different choices, it's not very straightforward on whether or not that's going to have a huge impact on the ending of this game, which is Erica that we're talking about, or if it's pretty much the same thing. Maybe a minor character dies, or maybe you have to start over again. You know, it's not very clear right now what it's going to entail, but if it costs more than $20, are we really going to buy it with only a 2 to 3 hour runtime?
Well, I mean, that's a movie ticket, right? That's like...
And that's another point, right? Yeah, if we do $20, sure. But if it's 60...
Well, Hellblade, that's sort of... It has a shorter runtime as well.
But that was also 30. So that was half the time, half the price.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. That's an interesting question. But, I mean, 20... I mean, you're paying at least 20 when you go see a film nowadays. It's like,
oh, yeah.
Even if you go on a matinee, I feel like, okay, $7 for that, and then, oh, did you want a little bit of drink? Okay, that's $20 right there, and it's very interesting for, you know, I think cost-wise, for 2.5 hours of entertainment, $20 isn't terrible.
No, exactly right. And just like with a film, it's not like you can go back to it in unlimited times for that $20, right? It's that one-time experience.
Unless you buy like the DVD or the Blu-ray or
right. But
special
that even then
deluxe
you're
edition.
spending more money to get that Blu-ray to
Oh.
get that DVD. See,
Right. After you've seen the film, yeah.
after you've seen the film, exactly. And just to jump into chat real quick, Lily says, if you laugh at games or gamers on Twitch, you are at the wrong place. That is for damn sure. There's a tiny gamer in everyone, whether it be casual, cell phone games, board games, playground games. And that's true too. We all play games in some form or fashion. So, to look down on a gamer, for one, is ridiculous. But two, where is the casual gamer at, and where is the more intense gamer, the more passionate gamer, and can they come together on a single title too? Can they play a game where the pro players or the more passionate players don't get a negative impact that when you're trying to adapt it also to someone who is a more casual player? Because we see this all the time with online games too, like Overwatch and things, where so many people complain. They're like, oh, I'm not going to play on the weekend. And you go, well, why? Well, because the casual players are out then, and, my score goes to shit every single time. So there's already kind of a rift there, and it's already kind of rough between the passionate players and the casual players. So, can someone make something that brings the two together, that doesn't ostracize one side or the other?
But then again, that's sort of like saying, oh, yeah, I play professional basketball, but, I don't want to play with somebody who just started out. Okay, well, maybe different servers, just go on a different basketball court.
Could be.
Or take a break on the weekend. I don't know.
Which many people do. Also, welcome, MindMineTV, to the MindMine.
Welcome.
Thank
Nice
you, sir.
To see you here.
Always great to see you, for sure. Hopefully you're doing well. How you feeling? You feeling any better than yesterday? Good gaming on Assassin's Origins, by the way. It's a lot of fun to watch you play that. Let's see here. Mike is always focused on profits. Of course, where you're a streamer, so you're all about making that dough, right? I mean, that's let's see here. I'd pay 10 or 15 for a 30-hour game. Yeah, I think it depends on what's entailed, right? I mean, if we're in awe by the graphics and there's a strong story, meaning that someone actually took the time to really structure and really create a strong foundation for this system to be created, then I definitely think it's worth, I would pay, $30 for it if I see that there was a lot of time and energy and effort put into it. But yeah, how long is it? How much can I enjoy it? Is it replayable?
Well, I think that's an interesting point, because I feel like we can also look at pricing in a way that isn't only comparing games against games or against what you can get as a value. I mean, that's obviously a fair thing to do, but think about other things in your life, right? Like, I always like to tell people, okay, do you get Starbucks every day? Yes. Okay. What, your $3-4 latte? Yes. Okay. You do that every single day, right? Mm-hmm. But if you think about games, like if you play those things every single day for 4 to 5 hours, okay, how much is that worth to you? Is it $4 an hour? Is it $4 a day? If you look at all that amount, yeah, you're easily, I mean, you're paying for Starbucks hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars over a course of the year, without really giving it a thought. If you look at a game, I mean, there's hundreds of people that probably worked on a game, especially one that you really liked or that was really immersive or had a lot of CGI. I mean, yes, they're also getting a lot more money from a lot of different sources, right? Like, they're going to have a lot more people actually buy their game as opposed to that $4 latte. But at the same time, you're paying $4 for somebody to do it in 15 seconds, right? So that's also, it's also good to consider, how much time and work has been spent as well into the game, and sort of comparison, and take a look, like, what other priorities do you have in your life, right? I mean, I don't buy a lot of flashy clothes, but I will spend a pretty penny on a good game or something cool for my cat or hair dye, so you also have to look at that, right? If games are your passion, if that's something that you really want, then yeah, I'm gonna pay I would be willing to pay a premium to get something good out of it, to get a skin, to get a this, to get a that, which is unfortunately what some corporations know about. For that too.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think it is about value, and it's about looking at that value. You know, what really goes into the process. I mean, there's a whole debate too that we won't get in on this stream specifically, but maybe in the future. But, you know, it's looking at the factor of, is $60 still expensive for a video game nowadays? And that's a huge debate. And you can see tons of videos by online sources like Game Ranks, Gaming Bolt, and several others where they go, you know, actually for what we are supposed to get, let me put that out there because not all game companies believe in this, EA, Activision, but, you know, or, well, those are not the developers. Let me be clear on that. There's a difference between developer and the ones releasing the game and pushing it out there. But, you know, for a complete game that gives you everything you need, let's say Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, you know, is $60 actually not enough for a game like that, for the amount of time that you spend on it, for the amount of time that you get immersed in that world, and of all the things that you can do among several other aspects? I mean, that's something really to think about. And I can't say either way, right? Because it's really dependent on the game. I think there are some games that should be more than $60 based on the time put into it and the amount of stuff you can do for it. As long as they don't put in freaking loot boxes, I'd be happy, right? I'd be happy to pay a little bit more if it didn't mean putting in gambling methods to take even more money out of me.
Right. Well, at that point, right, now you're just being sleazy.